Welcome to video 7 of your Webinar Blueprint. I'm your Webinar Blueprint guide, Jeff Winberg, and in the last video, we looked at how to set up and run a webinar with WebinarNinja. In this video, we're going to talk about what to do after your webinar is over so you maintain relationships and don't lose your momentum. Now that your webinar is over and excitement is dissipating, how do you keep your relationships going? Is it over after the webinar? It shouldn't be. Imagine you had dinner with a new friend and you had a great time. It was awesome, but after that night, you just didn't contact them. You ignored them. It would be kind of rude and weird, right? Now, imagine you ignored them and then 2 months later, you send them a text saying, "Hey, do you want to go grab some pizza?" It'd be weird because it was so out of the blue after you'd lost touch and you didn't build the relationship you started. People do this all the time with their email subscribers. They'll get people to join their email list and then they don't really contact them again after the first few emails. This is not the way you want to conduct your business, whether you're doing webinars or not. It doesn't create momentum. You see, momentum is huge in relationships, especially in business. We need to feel like the other end is trying, that they're interested in us. If you don't capitalize on the momentum you build when you first meet them on a webinar, you're leaving a whole lot on the table. Don't squander that goodwill that was given on your webinar. So how do you keep the momentum going? More free, valuable content. Now, you might be getting a little concerned about having to create more content. Let's talk about that. How do you keep offering great content? You have a content sharing system. So you create an autoresponder series for your webinar registrants. So everyone that ever registers for a webinar of yours enters your content sharing system that keeps sending them valuable content over time. With WebinarNinja, we have an API for all of the major email marketing services like Infusionsoft, MailChimp, Aweber, and so on. Every time someone registers for your webinars, they can be added to your list and registered for your webinar. WebinarNinja also has its own email marketing system to send out all of your webinar notifications and reminder emails automatically. We created both so your webinar emails are completely handled and your registrants get added to your list so you can keep giving them valuable content in an autoresponder series that you create. So what do you add to this autoresponder series? Just like your webinar required planning, so does your autoresponder sequence. How many emails should it include? What content do you provide to registrants after the webinar is over? How often should you send emails? These are all great questions. So first, let's go over a few ideas of what to send. You could send your webinar replay. You could send blog posts. You could send some stuff about you, who you are, and why you do what you do, but framed in a way that will help the reader. You could send out videos. Do you have any videos you could share? Any great content in video format they can really sink their teeth into? Other resources? Send them a guide, an ebook, a one-page checklist on whatever your topic is, even if it's not your own when you're first getting started. You can also send them an offer to buy your product. So, how often should you send emails with offers in them? It depends on whatever you decide for your specific business, but a good rule of thumb is to try to keep your emails balanced with a 3-to-1 ratio. For every 3 emails you send with a great content piece, send them an offer. You don't need to hard sell anyone, just let them know that you have an offer they might be interested in. Now, how often should you email people? That also kind of depends on what you want to do, but typically you'll email people more frequently when they're new and then space them out the farther and older the contact gets. This email sequence can be as long as you want it to be. Some folks have 6-month autoresponders. It really depends on what you want to do and what content you have available. The point is, keep in contact and keep giving them value. Try to keep them engaged. Ask them questions and their opinions on things you're creating. Make it a conversation. And with that, we've come to the end of your webinar blueprint. In this series, you've learned all about the webinar basics, how to come up with your webinar topic, what tools you need to host webinars, how to sell on webinars, how to market your webinars, how to set them up in WebinarNinja, and finally, what to do after your webinar is done. So, what now? What's the next step? Create and run your first webinar. And you can get started for free with WebinarNinja's 14-day free trial over at WebinarNinja.com. You'll get full access to WebinarNinja and you can run as many webinars as you like for 14 days absolutely free. If you love it, stick around. Your membership fee is only charged on day 15. And of course, you can cancel at any time right inside your account, but I'm pretty sure you'll love us. So thanks so much for following along with this blueprint. It's been fun being your guide. Now go out there and create an amazing webinar. Take care.